Hey everyone, finished watching the next episode of Beetleborgs, The Revenge of Vexor. The Magnivores have stolen a wheelbarrow full of Beetleborgs comics, and at least one Flash comic, and stop off to steal some donuts. A pair of police officers confiscate their donuts, and they chase their vehicle, leaving behind their wheelbarrow. The kids head to Zoom Comics to ask Josh to join their team. He doesn't believe them, so they show off their civilian powers to him. They take him to Hillhurst and introduce him to Flabber. The Magnivores, meanwhile, are in the back of the police van eating their donuts, and suddenly they remember, oh yeah, we're supposed to take those comics to Vexor. Josh meets the monsters of Hillhurst and gets chased around. Eventually, he gets away and meets Art Fortunes. Shadowborg shows up outside Hillhurst, and Josh finally accepts the White Blaster Beetleborg powers. He battles Shadowborg. Vexor spies. The other Magnivores make it with the comics, but Vexor doesn't think they're necessary at this moment. Shadowborg defeats Josh and leaves. He doesn't know that Josh took back the Beetleborgs' powers. Shadowborg goes back to the crypt and Vexor starts bringing monsters out of the comics. This is another fun episode. Not a lot to analyze, though. This is pretty much just a middle transition from the beginning to the conclusion. The two police officers at the beginning look like Stu and Shorty, the bank robbers from Haunted Hideout. I guess they reformed, kinda. They're not particularly good cops, though, as they skipped work to get donuts. The Magnivores are true to their roots when they get distracted by food. Josh meeting the monsters and Art Fortunes is all pretty cool. The way it's handled, I wonder if he thinks Art Fortunes lives there. I guess since there's not a whole lot else to discuss, I'll talk about Shadowborg's voice actor, Bob Papenbrook. He was an incredibly prolific voice actor. He started in voiceover mostly as background and extras in live action as well as animation. He's supposedly in several episodes of a 1970s English dub of Lupin III, but little if any evidence of this exists. He provided voices for many cartoons, animes, video games, and movies. Throughout the original Saban run of Power Rangers, he voiced many main and one-off characters, most notably Lizinator and Saliguana in the first two seasons of Mighty Morphin, and Rito Revolto in the third season as well as in Zeo. In Zeo, he voiced Silo and Barox. In Turbo, he voiced Amphibitor and Torch Tiger. Power Rangers in Space, he did the voice of Sting King. In Lost Galaxy, he voiced the main character Devia and then the minor monster Radster. In Wild Force, he voiced the Bell Org. In VR Troopers, he voiced a few one-off monsters. In Masked Rider, he also voiced a few one-off monsters. In Beetleborgs, he's previously voiced Amphead, and after Shadowborg, will go on to voice Hammerhands, Borg Slayer, Aqualungs, and Scorpix. He provided several voices for characters in Digimon, most notably Centaurimon, Dromojimon, Vegiemon, Shogun Gekomon. In the movie, he voiced the first Greymon, and he was the voice of many other Digimon in Season 4. He had several more anime and video game roles, including a posthumous release of a Ghost in the Shell movie. Be aware there's some conflicting information on some of his roles, depending on the source. I tried to go to, Wikipedia, because that's usually a fairly reliable source when it comes to voice actors, especially voice actors involved with Power Rangers, anime, and that sort of thing, but oddly, the entire Wikipedia page was down. I don't know what was going on. So I went to Ranger Wiki, I went to the Masked Rider Wiki, Metal Heroes Wiki, I went to Behind the Voice Actors, I went to IMDb. IMDb is usually a pretty reliable source. Unfortunately, every time I tried to click the See All Roles thing, the site would crash. I don't know what was up. I think something is, I don't know. But anyway, I was able to get, just text versions of a bunch of his roles from IMDb, and that's where I found a ton of, stuff about Lupin the Third, and it said 1977, but I'm fairly confident America didn't get Lupin the Third back in the 70s. Also, apparently it was called The Viper when it was dubbed into English back in the 70s, if it was at all, but I can't find any information about it. I tried looking it up on YouTube, and the first thing that comes up if you try to, look up about the Lupin the Third English Viper dub is a video talking about how that dub possibly doesn't exist. Also, I found an interesting thing on Behind the Voice Actors. He was apparently in a really early dub of Dragon Ball. I don't know if it was the Harmony Gold version. The weird thing is on Behind the Voice Actors, it shows he was the voice of Bora, the Native American-themed character from the Dragon Ball movie Mystical Adventure. However, when it plays voice clips, which are definitely Bob Papenbrook, the character introduces himself, and he doesn't use the name Bora. He uses the name Haymaker. Okay, so In this version, they changed his name to Haymaker, and I do know, or I'm pretty sure it was the Harmony Gold version that changed a lot of characters' names. Like Goku was changed to Zero, and Bulma was Lena. Getting way off topic. There wasn't a whole lot too interesting in this episode to talk about. It's a really good episode. It's a good transitional episode from the introduction of Shadowborg and Josh like kind of becoming a bigger character. Not a huge character or anything. He's not super deep or interesting, but like he's an okay character. And I remember as a kid seeing these episodes on Fox Kids. This was like kind of a big deal, and it was really fun, and the promotion was amazing. I remember seeing the commercials. They had the kids address the camera, join the excitement all weekend Saturday. And then we see Josh turn into the White Blaster Borg, and it was like a couple weeks before we actually got to see him in live action, and it was kind of a big thing. It was like, oh man, it was building up all this suspense and tension, and then when it finally happened, he has a big fight with Shadowborg, and as an adult looking at it, yeah, it's kind of choppy, and it's nowhere near as good as some of the fight scenes in the Japanese tokusatsu shows, Metal Heroes, Sentai are, but like as a kid, I didn't really mind that. It was just radical to see a battle going on with this new Beetleborg fighting this bad guy in front of Hillhurst. It was really cool. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Gonna have to take those donuts in for evidence. Jelly filled.